The Ultimate Ninja Storm is upon us once again after a 7-year gap. 6 years if you include the Boruto DLC. Was Connections worth the wait, or should CC2 cook just a little bit longer?
I'm fine. I'm good under pressure.
The marketing for Naruto Storm Connections didn't have the best start with the general public. When Connections was announced, it was boasted that there were over 130 playable characters, giving the impression that this was going to be Naruto Storm's version of Smash Ultimate, the complete Storm package. As the months passed, the Japanese Naruto gaming page, from the initial announcement up until now, have been posting old Ultimate attacks which for the casual player or a newcomer to the series, they may not understand the difference between Connections and Storm 4 based on that. The marketing for this game at best was tone deaf. But with that said, let's begin with the game. So when you start the game, it begins with an amazing, well put together opening that's based on Naruto's second opening theme song. If you look carefully, you see that they added 3D scenes from PTS, Shippuden, and Boruto that are exclusive to this opening. It was so good that I wish they were included in the game's story as boss battles. Once that's over and you get past the start screen, the game contains several modes, but let's begin with the history mode first. In History Mode, you replay the story from Storm 1 to 4 in a linear fashion similar to Storm 4's story and Demon Slayer. There's no free roam available, however, this did not bother me since CC2 isn't really that good at this, especially compared to previous competitors such as Rise of a Ninja for the 360. History Mode skips several scenes such as Sasuke vs Orochimaru, Rock Lee vs Gaara, and some boss battles that have been cut such as the Sannin boss battle, and others that were slightly reworked and made the quick time events a little easier to execute. There's no longer any jutsu fail scenes when you miss an input. I also noticed Kakashi vs Naruto and Sakura was redubbed, and Kakashi in particular does not sound as good as the original Storm 2 dub.
I guess I'll have to be tougher on you.
In general, the redubbing of the boss fights mostly gave us an awkward and lackluster performance.
Did that wake you up?
History Mode has no 3D cutscenes, but instead the majority will be anime slideshow scenes, with the only 3D sections being the boss battles. Next is a special story which stars Boruto, and seemingly where CC2 has spent most of their time with their 3D efforts in comparison to History Mode. I won't spoil the story, but it's mostly fine for an original story with some parts nearing the end that were overstaying its welcome. The story can be finished in roughly 4 hours if you don't skip the dialogue sections, and if you're like me who is an S-ranked addict, it'll take you some more time, especially with certain boss battles that have stricter S-rank conditions. Next you have Free Battle, which compromises of versus mode, league battles, practice, character customization, and team formation. While on the subject of Free Battle, the game's combat is so much better than what we had in Storm 4. The game allows players to combo from basically anything such as grabs, bomb throws, air combos, knockdowns, you name it. The openness of the combat mechanics makes for great player expression and opportunities for stylish combos that even a beginner can manage. Speaking of beginners, there's a new control style called Simple Controls where the player can use combo, technique, and awakening assists, and also auto chakra dash. Each one of these functions that I mentioned can be toggled on or off in the submenu to your liking. Next we have the online mode, which allows for some interesting customizations for various things such as your player card, background images. Selecting your main character on your team will show them standing in the online hub, and it's a nice visual upgrade from Storm 4. Unfortunately, at the time of this review, I wasn't able to get an online match, so I can't attest for the quality of the netcode. Lastly, the collection mode is where you can buy and view various collectibles such as the character color variants, accessories to put on your character, substitution items, poses, stamps, and more. The content available in collection mode is a bit bloated, as it feels like CC2 padded out the color variants unnecessarily, causing unneeded reel grinding when it should have been something available from the start. It's difficult to recommend this game to someone who isn't mostly interested in the game's new combat mechanics, as it seemingly offers little to nothing for the casual audience who may have already played Storm Legacy, which tells the story much better, and Storm 4 plus the Road to Boruto DLC. My final score for Naruto Storm Connections is a 6 out of 10. While there's some fun to be had, as a $60 package, it almost feels like a cash grab.